Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a cute leather flower keychain. I wanted to make it because I got this cute leather bag from Hatton Henry. It's supposed to look like a cactus leaf and it just reminded me of the Texas Hill Country and it made me miss Texas. So I felt like I just needed it. But I thought it would be really cute to add some cactus flowers to it. So I made some. So let's get started. You'll need some colorful leather. Pleather should work too. You'll want a tiny bit of yellow leather, and then whatever color you want for the flower petals. A marker, scissors, super glue, needle nosed pliers, a big lobster clasp and jump ring, and optional Mod Podge. Attach the jump ring to the lobster clasp. Cut a piece of yellow leather to 1/2 inch by 2 inches. I'm using some light gray leather because you only need a tiny bit and I already had this, so I figured I could just paint it yellow later. Anyway, thread this piece of leather onto the jump ring halfway. Apply some super glue right around where the jump ring is and fold it in half. You only want the super glue to go up a tiny bit so it only sticks right around the jump ring. Let that cure. It might take a while on the suede part of the leather, but be patient. It might be tempting to whip out your hot glue gun, but while it's faster, it won't give you as good of a hold with leather stuff. Once this is cured, cut small strips like so to make a fringe. Now is when I decided to paint it. Of course, you can skip this step if you're already using yellow leather. Cut your petal colored leather to about 4 inches by 4 inches. Again, I didn't have the color I wanted, which was a purplish color, but I had a light gray, so I colored it with an alcohol-based marker. I used this technique a while ago in a thrifted purse that I spruced up. It worked well, and the color doesn't rub off or anything, so I felt confident in doing it again. Of course, you can use leather dye too. This is also optional, but I wanted to knock down the fibers on the suede side of the leather. In the finished product, you'll be able to see both sides of the leather, so I wanted them to have the same sort of finish. I just brushed some Mod Podge over it. Here's an example of one that I made without Mod Podging the suede part, so it still looks like suede, so you can kind of get an example of what it would look like. Once it's dry, you can start drawing the pattern out. Start in the middle and make a fairly loose spiral outwards. From the center again, draw the first petal like so. Then continue with another half circle, and again, and again, and again. Once you reach the outer edge, about here, you want to start making each half circle smaller and smaller, like so, until you've reached the end. It should look like this. If you're not confident in being able to draw this straight onto the leather, you can totally sketch it out on paper first, cut it out, and trace that onto the leather. You can also play around with different petal shapes. On this red leather, I wanted to do some pointier petals. Anyway, once you've drawn the pattern and you're happy with it, cut it out. On mine, the cut edges exposed the gray leather again, so I had to touch those up. Now take the end, where the smallest scalloped edge is, and add a bit of super glue and attach it a little bit lower than the midpoint of the yellow fringed leather. You can see here that I put it almost exactly halfway, which turned out fine, but you'll end up having to do an extra step at the end. Not really that big of a deal. Start wrapping the leather around, lining up the bottom edge, and adding a little bit of super glue to the base every once in a while to help tack it in place. I did this with the suede side facing out, but you can do it whichever way you'd like. Once you start reaching the end, you may notice it looks better if you cut off a few of the petals on the end. Right here you can see it looks good with this petal being the last one, so I ended up cutting these last two off, and then added a dab of super glue to the base here. Flip it it over and completely cover the bottom with super glue. Set it aside to fully cure. Now, since I started wrapping this a little higher up, there's still quite a bit of the middle part exposed at the bottom. I thought maybe I could use my marker to color that in so it matched the petal colored leather, but that didn't work too great with the yellow paint already on it, so I ended up cutting a small strip of leather and wrapping and gluing that around like so. And I think it looks much better. And now it's done. Here's how the red one came out with the pointier petals. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. I post art videos every Tuesday and DIY videos every Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat, and I'll leave the information to those down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week. Some of you may have noticed that I'm filming in a different area. Actually, it's not even a different area. I just moved stuff around finally and put that shelf up. I feel like I still barely scratched the surface on my studio renovations, but hopefully I get the time soon to actually get in there and get stuff done so I can film a studio tour for you guys. Walk into the vid purse first.